Welcome back to the new adventures of the monad. In the 4 previous presentations in this series on chains, rounds and globes, we have studied the field of evolution from a location point of view. We have outlined the planes of matter where such activities take place. Think of our solar system as a vast educational establishment that caters to all students starting at kindergarten and going all the way to postdoctoral research. We will start to look at the life streams that pour into and through the solar system, starting with the main river and going into tributaries and creeks in due course. We are, of course, mainly concerned with the evolution of humanity from its earliest beginnings all the way to superhuman achievements. In modern theosophical literature, the term life waves has been employed in 3 distinct senses. First, to represent the 3 great outpourings, as they are more usually and perhaps more appropriately called, of divine life from the 3 loci of the Trinity, through which the solar system comes into existence and by which it is nourished and sustained. Second, to describe the successive streams of life of which the second outpouring is formed. It is these which we are dealing with in this presentation and which we will denote, for the sake of clarity, as streams of life or life streams. Third, to signify the transference of life from one planet of a chain to another planet in the course of various rounds. We shall deal with this in a later presentation when it is seen that this kind of life wave differs considerably from what we have called a life stream up to this point. Focusing on the human line of evolution, ignoring for the moment the Deva line of evolution and other lines which may exist, of which we know very little, we note that there are 7 main kingdoms of life evolving side by side through our Earth scheme. Whether the same method is followed in the other 9 schemes or not, we do not at present know for certain, though life seems to follow patterns from higher to lower, so why not from side to side? The 7 kingdoms we know about are the first elemental kingdom, the second elemental kingdom, the third elemental kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the human kingdom. All 7 of these kingdoms are expressions of the same life, the one life of the Logos manifesting in that second great outpouring, which comes from the second aspect of the Trinity after the primary matter has been prepared for its reception by the actions of the first outpouring, which comes from the third aspect of the Trinity. We have already covered this process. The second outpouring comes forth in a series of successive waves following one another like waves of the sea. It is the history of the progress of these waves of life which has historically been called life streams. The first 3 of the 7 kingdoms are on the downward arc of evolution, i.e., the life in them is plunging deeper and deeper into matter. The first elemental kingdom does not descend below the causal plane. The second elemental kingdom does not descend below the mental plane, and the third elemental kingdom comes down only as far as the emotional plane. The mineral kingdom represents the turning point where life reaches the lowest point of its descent into matter and commences to ascend again through the planes. This phenomenon of descent into materiality and re-ascent into spirituality is one which consistently recurs in many ways and will be dealt with more fully in due course. The vegetable, animal, and human kingdoms are occupied in rising steadily through the planes. In the general scheme of things, excuse the pun, each life stream animates a kingdom for a whole chain period. It passes on to the next kingdom in the next chain period, taking a whole chain period to be ready to ascend to the next evolutionary level. This is the general theory. There are exceptions to this general rule, which will be elucidated later. If the first elemental kingdom passes to the second, what happens to the void it leaves behind? It is filled with an entirely fresh life stream, generously donated to the scheme by the Logos, thus making a new first elemental kingdom. As this process repeats itself in all 7 chains, we can deduce that there are 13 life streams in our scheme. This can be represented thus. From the flow indicated in the diagram, it is seen that the life that is now being expressed in our present humanity came up through the animal kingdom in the 3rd, the moon chain, through the vegetable kingdom in the 2nd chain, and through the mineral kingdom in the 1st chain. Now, as each kingdom must pass through all the kingdoms that preceded it, it is clear that the life stream out of which our present humanity has emerged must have passed through the 3 elemental kingdoms in some previous chain and some previous scheme. This applies to all but the lowest life stream for the reasons already stated. It should be noted that there are 7 radiating lines above the human kingdom. These are the 7 potential paths a monad can follow once it enters the 5th kingdom of nature. This will be discussed further in a later presentation. Looking again at the diagram, we can see that the only life stream which runs through the whole 7 kingdoms in our scheme of 7 chains is that which entered the 1st chain as the 1st elemental kingdom. Climbing steadily, 1 kingdom in each chain, this life stream eventually reaches the human kingdom and passes out of it in the 7th and last chain of our scheme. The other 6 kingdoms of the 1st chain, as already stated, must have commenced their evolution in earlier chains, while the 6 life streams that emerge from the Logos and enter the 6 chains after the 1st will have to continue and complete their evolution in the chains after the 7th and last chain of our scheme. While our scheme of evolution is complete and more or less self-contained within its field of evolution, having a definite beginning and a definite ending, it forms one in a larger series of successive schemes. From this, we may deduce that even the solar system as a whole follows the general principle, which we find operating elsewhere in so many other directions, and is but one incarnation in some gigantic series. Anything like ultimate finality seems utterly beyond the furthest horizon to which we can stretch our imaginations. Life streams evolve through the various chains, passing through the whole of the 7th globe in each round. It is very difficult for us to grasp with our physical consciousness what can be the condition of the life of the lower kingdoms on the higher planes. The idea of evolution of a mineral, for example, on the mental plane suggests nothing readily comprehensible to the ordinary mind. It would correspond to our thought of a mineral. Yet, we should not assume that such a thought form as we could make of a mineral would be its only representation on that level. The thought form which exists there is that of the Manu, molded by a power altogether beyond comparison with that of our mentality. What exactly is a Manu? More on that later. Every mineral has its emotional and mental counterparts. The monad of the mineral is lodged in a permanent 43-1 atom. However, its focus, such as it is capable of focusing within these higher envelopes, is undergoing some sort of evolutionary experience. Mind energies flow from the Logos on cosmic plane 35 all the way down to our mental plane 47, and from there to the etheric plane 49 1 to 4. It is the Logos's perception of a mineral that we finally come to know. Remember, we are talking about a group soul of the mineral monad. It has a long way to go before it individualizes in the human kingdom. The take-home message here is that the life streams are evolving in some way during the period spent on all the globes, with useful progress being made at every part of the chain. We are just one of 7 lines of life co-evolving on this planetary scheme. We are neither the most important, nor are we the most numerous. The table shows that life begins to differentiate at the mineral level and reunites again at the solar spirits level. It should be noted that this is just a rough sketch and there are many variations. It is also possible to swap from one line of evolution to another. In the next presentation, we are going to look at the goals of our 7 chains. What is the whole scheme trying to achieve? Thank you.